Welcome to day 11 of the AFI hostage crisis. I don't know, it's starting over, man. This is 11 days now?
Yeah, well, we tell all of our volunteers and everyone it has to be day one. Like, you have to show up like it's day one.
I was here last weekend. It felt like a month ago. But I'm delighted to be here tomorrow. I have a great panel. Coming up, by the way, though, will be Dolph Lundgren and Jewel, I believe. So, probably want to stick around for that, because I don't think you'll ever see that again. They're wrestling. Eamon is refereeing. New. So I'm happy. Before we begin, I do want to know how many here are aspiring filmmakers who have filmmakers in the can, or what you're working on, or what you're dreaming of. Well, I think we know who we're talking to then. So this will be the most practical panel, I think, of the festival. At least I certainly hope so at the end of it. I'd like to begin by introducing Mary Aloe here to my immediate left. You were one of those fortunate journalists who got out of the business, you went into producing television. She did not want me to mention this, so I will. No, responsible in part for the Susan Powder Show. She's from here. I have questions for you afterwards. But she's gone on to produce and finance and distribute films. She is one of the producers of, and we helped make possible tonight's closing night film, Battle in Seattle. So I saw the other day and quite enjoyed it. I hope everyone is going to see that tonight. Just got through doing the, I think you have a film coming out May 13th on DVD, Numb, with Matthew Perry, one of your films as well.
Right, got that. Got about 6 movies coming out.
You just finished 2, if I'm not mistaken, Kim Basinger in While She Was Out, and Tortured with Lawrence Fishburne. Fantastic. Vic, I'd like to let you introduce yourself, as you're a late edition, and I do not want to do you short shrift.
Well, hello, I'm Vic Tran. I'm a packaging and sales agent at ICM. Prior to that, spent 2 years at Lake Shore as a production and acquisition executive. Worked on films in the Underworld, Crank, You Mustang, $1 Million Baby. And on the flip side of the table, as a sales agent now, we're packaging about 12, 15 movies a year and selling them when they're done.
Very nice. And I gotta tell you, I never do this, but everyone up here has very, very estimable resumes, and I do want to make you aware of the fact that they have been involved in films from incredibly small to some of the biggest movies around. Steve Rothenberg, big man at Lionsgate, head of distribution for Lionsgate, president of distribution, domestic distribution. I will get that right eventually. Moved to Los Angeles, if I'm not mistaken, in 1980 to work for Roger Corman. That's true. I think we all want to hear about that particular experience. Then you went to Savoy, went to Sam Goldwyn, where you worked with Eamon, who handled distribution on such films as Wild at Heart, Bronx Tale, and Mystic Pizza. Then you went to Artisan. He was president of domestic distribution, and he is indeed the man responsible for getting Blair Witch Project everywhere. We can talk about that as well. I'm sure it will come up. A couple of years ago, Artisan actually merged with Lionsgate, and from that has come everything from Crash to the Saw franchise to Away from Earth, The Diary of a Mad Black Woman to Hotel Rwanda. Sitting to his left is another former Goldwyn executive. In fact, Eamon worked for Steve for about 8 years. Eamon Bowles is one of my favorite art film brats. You were raised in the New York cinemas in the 1970s and 1980s watching movies. In fact, he is responsible for distributing the longest movie ever made, 15.5-hour Berlin-Alexanderplatz. Went to Goldwyn in 1986. He got into the theater, such films as The Madness of King George, Eat, Drink, Man, Woman, and The Wedding Banquet. In 1995, he went to Miramax, where he in fact set up Shining Caliber, the very independent distribution arm of Miramax, so he could handle the release of kids. He is in fact more or less the man who got Sling Blade into Harvey Weinstein's Grubby Paws. He worked on The Apostle for October, and he launched Shooting Gallery, the film series, the traveling series that pretty much made Clive Owen a star with Croupier. 6 years ago, he went to work for Dallas-based Magnolia, Mark Cuban and Todd Wagner's enterprise. And though Magnolia is best known for its documentaries on Enron, the Iraq War, the Ramones, Capturing the Freedmen, Charles Bukowski, Steroids, a new film coming up, Bigger, Stronger, Faster, and Jesus Camp, they also have some exquisite independent films as well. Among them, one of my favorites, Cavite, and there was Keen, and there have been many, many more. Late Marriage, and we could go on. But everybody here wants to know how to get their movies distributed. I believe that's probably what we're here to talk about. So Eva, let's start with you down at the end. What would you tell them if someone were to call you and actually get you on the phone, which probably wouldn't happen? Well, let's say they did. Most of your acquisitions do, in fact, how much of your film festival, how much of your acquisitions roster comes from events like these, from film festivals?
I would say the major film festivals account for the vast majority of our acquisitions. That's not to say we don't get things open. Group A, I think, was picked up over the transit, fax in my machine one day, just a straight fax to the screen was happening. And I went to the screen and just, it was kind of fell through the cracks. But I would say between Cannes, Toronto, and Sundance, that accounts for the vast majority of the acquisitions that we see. Those are where the films that have probably the best chance of making it in the marketplace will premiere. With few, there are exceptions, of course, but that I think is the sort of best place for us to go and see a premiere film.
So you would recommend that everyone here who has a film really try to get it into a festival?
I really do think that's the best way. A lot of acquisition people will tell you, oh, just slip us a copy and we'll see it. Well, it's better to go to a festival with a distributor. You know what? It's best to be in a major film festival and be on the docket. Everyone will be covering it. People see, if you make a film, it will get seen, by just about every major distribution company. Very few of them will get picked up, but they will get seen. If they're in a major film festival and acquisitions people have not seen it yet, they will definitely make a point. It'll be high up on their radar, especially if there are some elements that, like a star or some plot scenario that just seems very compelling or marketable. It will be seen in a very sort of competitive environment if you're at one of these major film festivals. It's probably your best chance to make a big deal and a big shot.
See, that's in fact, you saw Blair Witch Project in 1999 at Sundance, isn't that the case?
That's where it premiered, right?
Yeah, that was the first time you saw it.
Right.
And that was when you realized that was something you could work with.
Well, we were independent companies, local studios, before one of these three major festivals that I even talked about. We basically made a hit list of the films that we think are going to be the most appropriate for us. They might be better for somebody else, and then we'll have a little lower rank for it. We literally rank them in our company from 0 to 10, and if it's an 8 or 9 or 10, then it's on everybody's radar who's going to be going to the festival from our company. So with a film like Blair Witch, to be specific, we had read a lot about it, heard a lot about it. We had been in contact with the filmmakers prior to the festival. So what we did is we made sure that we were at the very first screening of it. And we knew it wasn't going to be the world's greatest film as far as a technical film. It's only made for $100,000. So, most of you probably saw it handheld cameras. So we weren't looking at it so much from a technical point of view, just to see if it actually delivered on what the premise was, because we felt it was perhaps the most marketable film that we'd come across in years, which it turned out to be. And the filmmakers had already started a website. They had come up with the whole mythology of the film prior to the screening at Sundance. So once we saw the film, we realized that it was quite fun entertainment. And we bought it for $1 million. This film had cost about $40,000 to make. And a few days later, they asked an executive named Bingham Wright, who we know and work with. They said, Bingham, did you see the Blair Witch Project? He goes, yeah. They said to him, did you find it scary? He said, the only thing scary about it is that artists paid $1 million to buy it. And he chose words a little bit later. But just goes to show you, for his radar and for the company he was at the time, it was not a film that they wanted to even have on their radar to potentially look at and buy. We were looking for films that were more exploitable at that time, and certainly the film was very marketable and exploitable.
Bingham's comment goes to the point, which I think Bingham just didn't like Blair Witch Project. Not only did he not,
he was not alone.
Yeah, I mean, it did not get critical praise at Sundance by any stretch. In fact, I think
Nor did it really deserve it as a film.
Right, in fact, completely written off. I mean, no one sort of foresaw it becoming a phenomenon. But that does raise the interesting point, as acquisitions executives, how much of you goes into a film going, this is marketable, and how much of you goes, I hate this, I don't want to pick it up, and I don't want to have my name attached to it?
I see so many films that I personally love, and I know there's no chance in hell in the marketplace for the film. One of the things I've kind of had the luxury of being able to and finding in comedy some sort of scale that can make it work. Whether it's going to be, it may not be a huge